All right. Now, upon reading Joshua chapter 7, and I assume that you will, if you hadn't read it yet, go back and read it and then apply this message to it. So, the core significance of Joshua chapter 7. I'm going to give you several reasons. All right. Reason number one, it shows that hidden sin has public consequences. Achan's private act, taking forbidden items from Jericho, resulted in Israel's defeat at Ai, the death of 36 soldiers, God withdrawing his presence, and national humiliation. Now, the key idea is that no sin is truly private. What is hidden in one's tent can affect an entire community. And this is a major biblical principle repeated throughout Scripture. Point number two, it reveals God's holiness and intolerance of covenant violation. Jericho was under, well, I put it this way, Jericho was banned. Jericho was under Harem, which is a ban devoted to God for destruction. By stealing from what belonged to God, Achan violated the covenant. And Joshua 7 shows that God's holiness isn't negotiable. His presence cannot dwell with unrepentant sin, and victory is impossible when the covenant is broken. Now, Israel didn't lose at Ai because Ai was strong, but because Israel was spiritually weak. Point number three, it teaches that spiritual defeat often has spiritual causes. Joshua and the people assumed Ai would be an easy victory. Now, they relied on military confidence, they relied on human assessment, and they relied on past success. But they did not seek God before attacking. So the lesson from that is past victories don't guarantee future success when God is not consulted. Point number four, it emphasizes leadership responsibility. Joshua falls before God asking why. God responds with Israel has sinned. And even though one man sinned, God holds the nation and its leaders responsible for maintaining holiness in the camp. And this is a leadership principle. God must guard the spiritual health of the community. Leaders must seek God before acting, and leaders must confront sin and not ignore it. Point number five, it shows the process of restoration. Joshua chapter 7 is not just about judgment. It's about restoring God's presence. And the steps that were taken, number one is exposure. God reveals the sin. Number two, confrontation. Achan was identified. Number three, removal. The sin is dealt with. And number four, restoration. God's favor returns. Now, this becomes a pattern for spiritual renewal throughout Scripture. Point number six, it prepares Israel for future victories. After Joshua chapter 7 comes Joshua chapter 8, where Israel defeats Ai decisively. And the message from that is, once sin is dealt with, God restores victory. And in Joshua 7 is the valley before the mountaintop. Point number 7, it foreshadows New Testament themes. In Joshua chapter 7, it anticipates several New Testament truths. The seriousness of sin, Romans chapter 6, verse 23. The need for confession, 1 John chapter 1, verse 9. The danger of hypocrisy, Acts chapter 5, Ananias and Sapphira. And the unity of the body, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 26. If one suffers, all suffer. And Achan is an Old Testament picture of how sin disrupts the entire community of God. So, Joshua chapter 7 teaches that God's people can't walk in victory when they tolerate hidden sin. Also, it teaches that neglect God's presence or break covenant with him. So that right there is what Joshua chapter 7 is about. So like I said, if you have not already read it, go back and read it, and then line up what I just spoke about, and you get a better understanding of Joshua chapter 7. So with that in mind, continue to renew your mind. Enough said.